The Florida Panthers are headed back to the Stanley Cup Finals for the third year in a row, and it's all thanks to guys like this who have been dishing out some sick passes to guys like this who have been putting the puck into the back of the net at big time moments to put away series. And head coach Paul Maurice, as well as GM Bill Zito, are just two of the masterminds behind putting together such an incredible roster that is going to be perennial championship contenders for years to come, and dare I say, possible dynasty if they are able to repeat as back-to-back champions this year. And obviously, we will see for years to come if they can get back to the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll see. That's a topic for another day. But guys, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Panthers Digest. I am your host, Greg Andrews. As always, hit that subscribe button down below to stay up to date with anything and everything that has to do with your defending Stanley Cup champion and hopefully repeating champion, Florida Panthers. So guys, the NHL has been having nightmares about this team right now because no matter what teams have been throwing at them right now, no matter if they're going up 3 games and then they lose one and it doesn't look so good for the Panthers, they always find a way to win. Even if they're down in a game, they always find a way to put the puck in the back of the net, play great defense, penalty killing, incredible on the power play, and have the team mentality. They always find a way to persevere in the hardest of times in games. You can never count this team out. We are just going to jump right into things, guys. Here we go. So, Eastern Conference champions back to back to back. I'm so glad Barkov did not touch that trophy this year like he did in the first year. We all know about the curse. We're not going to get into that right now. I really don't want to. But here we go, guys. 5-3, big win over the Hurricanes. It looked a little bit rough around the edges for that first period. I think some of the Panthers fans might have been biting their nails and had little flashbacks to the 7-game series in the finals last year against Edmonton. And we'll talk about what that might be this year. We might have a repeat of the Stanley Cup Finals from last year. But I got a little nervous after that first period of seeing Aho score those 2 goals. And the Panthers just looked slow again. But they picked it up in the second period, rattled off 3 goals in a row in just under 5 minutes, I believe it was. But again, persevering, being resilient. This team is so good at doing that. No matter where their positioning is in a series, no matter where they are in a game, they always find a way to come together, put the puck in the back of the net, and close out series now. It's feeling better. This team is really grooving nicely, and the chemistry, I think, is just spot on right now, and they just got to keep doing what they're doing and play Panthers hockey. So, team stats from last night, they were definitely not the most physical team. That's one of the biggest things that I noticed. They were not as physical as Carolina. Obviously, Carolina was because they have nothing to lose. They really don't. They're going to put everything on the line in that game, and I think they did. They obviously did a little more in the previous game, in game number 4, but the Panthers found a way to pretty much put that one away at the end and really take over that game in the last 2 periods. So outshot them barely, much better in the face-off circle. Like I said, the team usually wins games when they do well in the face-off circle and they're closer to that 50% face-off win percentage mark. Now, they did block 12 shots, not as many, but look at the giveaways. They did have some pretty sloppy giveaways with their passing in that first period. I mean, I was getting frustrated watching these just sloppy passes. I mean, it was bad passing, and I think a lot of the bouncing of the puck and just went in the way of the Carolina Hurricanes last night. It was just, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The guys are catching pucks in midair on our blue line when we're trying to clear it. You know, their passing was just great. Ours was not very good in that first period, but then we picked things up, turned it back around, took over the game, and the rest is history. We are now Eastern Conference champions for the 3rd year in a row. So let's look ahead really quickly before we start talking about some of the big guys that have got the Panthers to where they are today, back into the Stanley Cup Finals for the 3rd year in a row. Let's look at the matchups. We have Edmonton or Dallas. Both series this year, there were only 2 games. The Panthers won both games in both series. But against the Oilers, the 2 games were a lot closer. You see here, 6-5. Again, the physicality. Panthers more physical. I said this in the last video. They were the most physical team in the regular season. They're the most physical team in the postseason. Don't expect that to change. Look at the face-off win percentage here. Dramatically better for Edmonton. But I don't know what I can really say about that changing or not, because our defense has changed compared to where it was when we played this game. Same thing with the second game, which I'll get into in a second, because we added Jones, you've got Marchand, we've got Sturm. We've added guys to this roster that has drastically improved it, excuse me, and we've gotten better. So as the team is moving forward and looking into these series, here is the second game. Again, 1-goal games, very close. Panthers more dominant physically. Not as much in this game, only 26 hits compared to the other one, which was 38. Again, better in the face-off circle. Look at the difference there. Almost a 55% face-off win percentage in that game. 17 block shots. Didn't do anything on the power play because they didn't have a chance, but let's go back to this one. We went 1 for 3 on the power play. 1 for 4 on the power play. I was looking at Edmonton. You have to excuse me there. Wow. And the block shots, we only had 13, but we have a lot of giveaways, but so do they. Both teams give up the puck a lot. I don't see if we're playing them. I mean, with Hyman being injured now, it's not looking that great for Edmonton, but those guys have a deep team as well, and they really do stand up for one another. And, again, it's like I said, this in the NHL, the mentality is, one man down, another comes up. That's how they always play. Every team is exactly the same with that mentality. So I'm not going to say with him being out because of surgery that they are, just so much worse. No, the Oilers are a phenomenal hockey team. That's why they are where they are, and they could close out that series tonight. So I don't want to get too deep into thought about, let's have a rematch from last year. That's what it's looking like, but that's not what it is at the moment. So we're not going to get into those. So Dallas, 6-4 in the first game. Not a lot of hits. 17 for the Panthers, 21 for Dallas. We were outshot. Dallas did better there. Face-off circle, we did better at 53%. We were 1 for 2 on the power play, 12 block shots. Not a lot of giveaways. There were more for Dallas, but again, different time of the season. To me, that is going to be the biggest thing to really think about, is facing both of these teams. They weren't at the end of the season. And if they were at the end of that season, I can't remember when the last games took place, but we'll see here 4-2 in that last game against Dallas that they won. The Panthers still not the more physical team there, but equal on shots. Not as good in the face-off circle. Teams were equal on the power play, going 1 of 4. Penalty minutes were about the same. Block shots, the Panthers were great at with 16. But look at the giveaways by Dallas, 32. My goodness. What a poor game by them. But when they played these games, even if it was the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, let's call it the last month of the regular season, it's not going to be the same as what we're looking at right now, because again, the trades that the Panthers made has changed the mentality of this team and the makeup. Defensively, again, they have been so good in this playoffs. They have been, I would say, arguably the best defensive team in all of the NHL in the playoffs right now. And I'm not just going at this talking about goals against average. No, I'm talking about just what I'm seeing on the ice. They're forechecking, they're back-checking, the way they're able to actually scrum with these guys, the way they're actually able to try to keep them out of their opposing team out of that offensive third of theirs. And they're really trying to hold those lines, especially on the penalty kill too. Our special teams has been spectacular this postseason, and they're just keeping up with this. Again, it's Panther style of hockey. Be really aggressive on the forecheck. Be very, very physical. Be as physical as you can. Knock these guys off of their game. Get in their heads. Don't let them get any sort of momentum in any way, shape, or form on the ice, no matter what. That is what they do. They break teams down. Rough, tough, physical play, grinded out hockey is what they do. Yes, they could score 5 goals in a matter of 10 minutes. Yes, it's possible, but they still play grinded out hockey when they need to waste the clock and have good time management when they're on the ice. All right, guys, let's keep moving forward here. I want to get over and through a few graphics before I start talking about some of these guys. So this is Sam Reinhart on none other than Aleksander Sasha Barkov. Big players make big plays at the biggest moments when you need them. He's certainly the leader of this team, and we needed him big tonight. No doubt, buddy. Barkov has 6 goals and 11 assists in the postseason. He is clutch on those big plays when he is needed. He had 3 goals, 4 assists versus Carolina. And I'm going to show you a couple of his highlights in just a moment. So we also have Evan Rodriguez about where they are right now. Yeah, he's happy they won the Eastern Conference Finals, but guess what? They know what they really want to do right now, and that's win another Stanley Cup. That is the goal of this team. There is nothing short of it. That's why they weren't celebrating really winning the Eastern Conference last night. They really weren't doing that because they know this is, it's great. It's a good accomplishment. We're happy. But this is not what this season was about, this postseason, the way they're playing and standing up for one another, blood, sweat, and tears. I know it's every hockey team does the same thing, but there's something different about this team this year. The cohesion of every single one of these players, even when Brad Marchand came in here, and the tradition that they now have of shooting rats at him at the end of a game when they win. These new traditions and things, how they just mesh together so well. Even Seth Jones fitting in, Nico Sturm fitting in. I forgot the goalie's name, Vanacek. All of these guys coming in and having such a big integral role, even though if they're not playing that much. Even Sam Miskevich, who hasn't been playing since the second round series, the second game against Toronto. This team has such great camaraderie. That is what I'm loving about it. That's why I'm like, you can see it on the ice with these guys. It's not, just a handful of players who are scoring. It is everybody is in on this. Everybody's getting a piece of the pie. Everybody's assisting. Everybody's scoring goals. And they're now at 19 goals on the season. Players scoring 19 goals, 19 players have scored a goal in the playoffs. A tremendous accomplishment, especially with Evan Rodriguez's goal last night. And here's Paul Maurice on his 3 years of coaching Florida. I've got a really good bunch of men in that room, and I've had more fun in the last 3. I've learned more about life and hockey in the last 3 years from these players than I could ever possibly imagine. That is saying a lot coming from a coach who is a living legend and still coaching in the league. The man is an Adonis when it comes to how the game of hockey is played, how to put together his lines, gearing up for the next game, going over any sort of video with his team, prepping them. I mean, he is a genius when it comes to coaching at the NHL level. In 3 years, look what he has accomplished. Incredible. So I'm going to go over a couple of the big time moments here. So, like I said, Sasha Barkov, he has been the lifeblood of this team. He is the personification of what this team is about. He's got that quiet calm to him, and he's not the super most outspoken person. Whenever you see him get interviewed, he's kind of monotone. He's not, super animated, but every single person on this team respects the hell out of him. They say he is the lifeblood of what makes this team really run, what makes it click, what brings us all together. He is the guy. He is him. That is the man. And I'm going to show you why right now. It's because of plays like this. Silly, disgusting move to put the Cats up. That was the winning goal. Verhaeghe scored it. That was Barkov's goal. I'm going to show you one more time. Look at the moves. I didn't even show you the whole video. Coming across the back, going behind the net, coming up, right through the paint and over. What a perfect pass. And falling down. One more time. Look at this. Coming over. Falling down. But my goodness, what a play. Made Orlov look silly. Just silly string right there, guys. But he also does stuff like this. He can score goals too, albeit that is a deflection off of the defender. But look at this play. Falling down, he's still able to get control of the puck to try to put it in front of Wall and have some sort of play happen in front of him. Just put the puck in the paint and see what happens. And guess what happened? It went in. He scored a goal. Phenomenal. So that brings me to Verhaeghe. Mr. Clutch. Mr. Super Clutch. Verhaeghe, killer in the clutch. 12 games that he has won, had the winning goal, in the playoffs. 12 games in the playoffs he's won and had the winning goal since 2022. 5 overtime shots 5 overtime goals that he's won, 3 series clinching game 7 wins, or sorry, 3 series clinching goals that won the series, obviously, and none bigger than in 2023 in game 7 against Boston. He has been nothing short of incredible as well. It's been magic. This season has been incredible to watch. The playoffs more so than anything else, just to see this team come together and see them just dominate. So, next up, so for Hagee, 6 goals, 8 assists in the playoffs so far, 2 goals, 4 assists in this past round in the Eastern Conference Finals against Carolina. And then we have Bennett, who's been a stud, 10 goals in the playoffs right now, 6 assists, 4 goals, 3 assists in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then we have Brad Marchand. I think his overtime goal in game number 3 against Toronto, that was, I think, the turning point for this team to realize that they're going to be winning. They could do anything to win because they were this close going to go down 0-3 in that series. And that goal sparked the team, and they were able to come away with that series win because I think of that very play. This very play. If you put your eyes to the bottom right there, it was that play. This play again. Again, look at the bottom. That was the play that I think changed the mentality of this team. They already did, a phenomenal job in the first series against Tampa Bay, but I think that was the one where they said, guys, we cannot take our foot off the gas. We need to change things up a bit. And I know in game number 4 against Carolina, things got a little bit rough in that first period. But again, that goal, I think, showed the whole team, guys, we can do this. We can win any game no matter where we are in the game or where we are in the series. There's nothing that frightens this team because they frighten everybody else. And all the other teams should be scared of the Cats right now because of the way that they are playing selfless hockey. Bobrovsky has been incredible. Barkov has been incredible. Bennett's been incredible. Every single line on the Panthers has been playing great. When they're called upon, they stand up, they get out there, they put their blood, sweat, and tears on, and they leave it on the ice, and they stand up, and they are able to deliver. Every line does. So Marchand, I said, 4 goals, 10 assists. 10 assists in the playoffs. He had 1 goal and 1 assist in this last series. And we had, like I said, 19 players have scored a goal in the playoffs this year after Erod scored his goal last night. The biggest thing, and well, Tkachuk, don't be forgetting him, 5 goals, 11 assists, 2 goals, 5 assists in the series against Carolina. But the biggest thing, the defense. I'm not talking about the team defense from every single one of the players that is on the ice. I'm talking about literally the defensemen. The defensemen. They have a total of 15 goals and 24 assists in the playoffs. Ekblad, Schmidt, Jones, and Mikkola all have 3 goals this year in the playoffs. Big numbers. Their defense, they're not just playing defense, they're playing offense too, guys. That's what's scary about this team. They can do it in every single facet of what the game of hockey is. The Panthers have it covered. They really do. It is incredible to watch this team play. So, excuse me, guys, I got my notes right here. So the biggest thing here that I want to spotlight was Sasha Barkov. 29 years old. He's been in this league for 12 years. He's been in here longer than Carter Verhaeghe has, and he has just been a stud on the Panthers ever since. He doesn't know another team. This is pretty much it. The Finland native has had a 96-point year in 2018-2019. He had 39 goals in the 21-22 season. And he's all about setting up his teammates now. He used to be about scoring and trying to balance his game. He wants to be the assist man, and I think he's shown it. In the video I showed you guys, he's proven it. He has had so many phenomenal assists in big moments. When he's called upon for a big moment to have somebody step up, he is the guy that will usually make it happen. I will say Tkachuk too, yes, absolutely. But again, Barkov is the captain. He's the guy that wills this team. He's the guy that really brings everything together for all these guys. Even Brad Marchand said he is something special. He is something special. When I started playing with him, when I see what he does, his demeanor in the locker room, everything, he is the epitome of what an incredible hockey player is, a man that has talent, a man that is professional, on and off the ice. Remarkable player. An absolutely remarkable player. So, It's going to be an interesting wait right now because as things go, if the series is over tonight and we end up having to play Edmonton, the first game will not be until Wednesday of this upcoming week. If the series does continue on, it could be as late as Saturday for game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Again, I will go over things tomorrow depending on what happens this evening with the Dallas Edmonton game. We'll find out. We'll go from there. I'll do some comparison analysis, see how the teams have been doing in the playoffs, all that stuff that I usually do. And again, I am excited for this. I'm a little nervous, obviously, because when you go to the finals, this is it, baby. But man, the Cats have accomplished so much this year. Not just the trophies, but as a team, the chemistry. I do love the fact that I think this team is going to keep a lot of the players that are potential unrestricted free agents this summer. I do think guys will hopefully, I believe they'll take hometown discounts. The rumors are that Bennett has been in talks with the Panthers, but they want to wait until after the season is completely done because they want him to focus on playing hockey, not on contract negotiations right now. So smart move by the Cats, smart move by Bennett. Mutual agreement with that, but I think he will take a discount. I hope that Marchand does. I really do hope that Ekblad does because the chemistry, I know a lot of you were saying that Jones is that guy who came in to replace Ekblad, but the thing we need to realize here is the chemistry that he's already built on this team. He is a great defender. He's had some moments where you're like, oh no, he's had a couple bad passes here and there, but he's still a phenomenal defender. He sticks up for his teammates. He's a big body. He knows the team. He knows the system. He knows the players. He knows everything about being a Florida Panther, especially in the last few years. He's earned his keep. I'm not going to say he's worth the $7.5 million that he has been paid. I'd say if they're able to maybe sign him to not even a long-term deal, maybe 3 years, maybe 4, and give him, $6 million, just a little bit less, so that way you can re-sign Bennett. You can sign Marchand, and maybe instead of Marchand taking, I think it's the $3.7 million that he's getting right now, maybe he takes a little bit less and does like 2.7. Or maybe 3 million, because we have 19 million in cap space now. We got to see what happens at the end of the season. Maybe these guys will take some discounts. Again, if guys do leave, there are plenty of free agents that we could look into. I've heard the rumor mill going, and some of you guys are saying, oh, Tavares would be a better fit over Mitch Marner. But again, that's a topic for another day. Now is the time to focus on the Stanley Cup Finals, guys. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Panthers Digest. Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. I do want to hear from you guys. Again, I appreciate you tuning in. I'm your host, Greg Andrews. I'll be putting out another video tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the game tonight. It should be another great one, especially because this one's played in Dallas. So we'll see what happens, guys, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. All right, go Cats.